Well, now to the latest on embattled New York Congressman George Santos. He pleaded not guilty to a 13-count federal indictment unsealed yesterday by the Justice Department. The freshman congressman is accused of charges including fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds, and he could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Well, he was released on $500,000 bond, and he must surrender his passport. He is due back in court on June 30th, while Santos addressed reporters following his court appearance.
I'm going to fight my battle. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to fight the witch hunt. I'm going to take care of clearing my name, and I look forward to doing that. I have my right to fight to prove my innocence, as the government has a right to fight to try to find me guilty in whatever charges.
For more, we are joined by NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian. Ken, good morning. So viewers might remember there has been a lot going on here. Questions about his heritage, his jobs, his financing, a supposedly sick dog. Well, this appearance lasted just over 10 minutes before he was released. Tell us what he is accused of doing here in what was unsealed yesterday, and remind us how we got to this point.
Good morning, Savannah. Well, federal prosecutors in this indictment have accused Santos of really 3 buckets of illegal conduct. One, they say he defrauded his campaign donors by using campaign money for lavish personal expenses. And they also say he broke campaign law by soliciting donations far larger than the legal limit. And then there's this other charge kind of out of left field. We didn't see this one coming. He's accused of COVID unemployment fraud, of taking $25,000 in unemployment benefits from New York State through the COVID relief program that he was not entitled to. And then lastly, this is a strange one. He's accused of lying on his financial disclosure form, overstating his income, saying he earned $750,000 that prosecutors say he did not earn. I've never seen that before. Usually people hide income. Now, this appears on its face to be a very strong case because it's a case that can be proved by documents, bank records, corporation records, tax records, text messages. But Santos remained defiant outside of court yesterday. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I don't understand where the government's getting their information, but I will present my facts. We have an indictment. We have the information that the government wants to come after me on, and I'm going to comply. I've been complying throughout this entire process. I have no desire not to comply at this point. They've been gracious in there. Now I'm going to have to go and fight to defend myself. The reality is it's a witch hunt.
Now, as you said, each of these money laundering counts carries 20 years in prison. The others carry other prison sentences. He's facing a long stretch, and there's reason to believe these are not the only charges he will face, Savannah.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about what else we've got going on with him. So you've just walked us through this 13-count federal indictment. But Santos, we might remember last year, the New York Times did this big investigation that was what brought him under scrutiny, and it highlighted these numerous fabrications, some of which I mentioned at the top of this segment. We know he's currently facing other investigations because of those other things. Where do those stand right now?
Well, it all sort of runs together, and in fact, there's reason to believe that local and state prosecutors are investigating him. We know there's an inquiry by the House Ethics Committee, but usually in these situations, federal prosecutors take primacy here. And what's really interesting, I think, about this indictment is this charge of overstating his income. The reason that's important is because he loaned his campaign a large sum of money, more than $600,000. This indictment suggests that that was not his money, and yet there's no mention of it in these particular set of charges. But if it wasn't his money, that suggests there are other crimes that the federal government is investigating, Savannah.
And amid all this, Ken, Santos has said he does not plan to resign. In fact, he has announced that he is seeking re-election. Walk us through what this means for him on Capitol Hill. We had a little bit of news yesterday that House Speaker Kevin McCarthy did say he won't support his bid for re-election. But what's next here?
Well, so McCarthy needs his vote. So McCarthy right now, even though New York Republicans wish he would resign, McCarthy appears to be standing by his remaining in Congress. And in fact, you can be in Congress even having been convicted of a felony. It takes a 2/3 vote of the House to expel him. So it really is going to depend on whether the Republican majority decides they can tolerate his presence as he fights these charges.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.